The roulette wheel was spinning. The dealer waved his hand over the table and said, "No more bets." My heart was racing, and I was just praying that that little ball would land on a black color on the roulette wheel. I didn't care what number it was, as long as the color was black. I had it all in. I was all in on that one. And to think, just a few hours before all of this, before this one key moment, I was literally standing in front of an ATM machine, having an internal debate about withdrawing a simple $40 from my bank account so I could have a little fun while I'm stuck in this casino overnight awaiting a presentation the next day. When I hear people talk about Bitcoin today and claim, it's the hottest investment of our lifetimes and everybody needs to be on it, my mind takes me back to that casino in Tupelo, Mississippi, where I was going to have an epic win or an epic fail. Last week, analysts from the Citi Group issued a report on cryptocurrency that said that Bitcoin was at a, quote, tipping point between mainstream acceptance or speculative implosion. Doesn't that sound fantastic? A speculative implosion? The Citi report cited that Bitcoin could become the currency of choice for international trade. That's pretty strong due to its global reach, the neutrality, and the lack of foreign exchange exposure. They make a good point, but they also said spectacular implosion. Oh boy. Also, if you think about Bitcoin has gotten a lot of institutional investors that have started looking hard at Bitcoin. BMY New York, that's the oldest bank in the country. It's the one that Alexander Hamilton founded. Well, they basically said a couple weeks ago, hey, we're going to start holding Bitcoin for our clients. Tesla, we all heard about Tesla in February, purchased $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin as a small hedge against inflation. Imagine for a second if all of the other Fortune, or forget all of them, what if other of the Fortune 500 companies agreed with that mindset and started taking small hedges in small bets in Bitcoin to hedge against inflation? And by the way, if you're wondering about inflation, well, be sure to watch this video here because I talk about my take on inflation coming in 2021. The JP Morgan strategist also last week basically said that, in a multi-asset portfolio, well, investors should have or could have add up to 1% of their allocations into cryptocurrency. So they're basically saying if you have a multi-asset portfolio, you should consider having maybe up to 1% of that amount in cryptocurrencies because that's going to help you with the overall risk adjustment returns of the portfolio. Even with all of the positive reporting that's taking place surrounding Bitcoin, you do have a lot of naysayers out there. Bill Gates just last week said that unless your net worth was more than Elon Musk, who, by the way, was number one in the world for most highest net worth, and he just lost that to Jeff Bezos. They go back and forth. So unless your net worth was greater than or equal to Elon Musk, then you should not participate in cryptocurrencies. There's a professor, his name is Steve Hanke. He's a pretty smart guy. He's a professor of applied economics at Johns Hopkins University. Well, last week, he also said that Bitcoin will death spiral down to zero because it lacks intrinsic value. Well, is he right? Is Bill Gates right? Is Citi right? Is JP Morgan? We don't know. Only time will tell. But hearing both sides of the coin does take me back to that casino. I was standing in front of the ATM machine withdrawing some fun money from that ATM, and I was having one of those internal debate moments. One voice over here was saying, it's okay to have a little fun, buddy. You deserve it. And the other side over here was telling me, it's quite irresponsible for you to go and take this little bit of money, and it was a little bit of money, and go have fun with it when you're supposed to be saving for a house down payment. Last May, I started using an app that every day looks at my debit card transactions. And what it does is it basically rounds up the spare change from the debit card transactions, and it takes that spare change and it invests it in Bitcoin. So every day I'm making some little bets into Bitcoin. This regular investment is called dollar cost averaging. And what it does is obviously it helps you to enter an investment slowly over time, buying a little when the price is high, buying more when the price is low. You're basically averaging the investment over time. And the thing is that this app allows you to determine how much you want to spend per day. You want to round up to $1 a day? No problem. You want to do $10 a day? No problem. I chose $10 a day. And since using the app last May, the app has been able to collect about $3,600 in spare change. And as of today, that $3,600 has grown to over $13,000. I do agree with the Chase strategy that having up to 1% of your portfolio in cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, I do think it makes good sense. I think that you have to make some small bets here in order to basically protect yourself in case the investment does take off. What if it does go huge? But then you also have the implosion. I don't know. If I were starting today, if I had no Bitcoin in my portfolio and I was starting today, I would not go out and go all chips on the table. Big withdrawal, buy me 1, 2, 10 Bitcoin at $48,000, $50,000, whatever it is today, because the price changes so volatilely. But essentially, what I would do is I would have no problem by making these small investments by dollar cost averaging. And you can do that with the app that I'm talking about, or you could do it even through some of the Bitcoin platforms like Coinbase or whatever. They'll allow you to make investments over time. Basically, my goal is I do want to start to include Bitcoin in that portfolio just as a hedge potentially. I got FOMO. I don't want to miss out. And the app that I've been using is called the Donut.app. Funny enough, I like the app. And I do like donuts. I eat one every day, by the way. But see, they don't have. I didn't choose the app because of the name. Or maybe I did subliminally. I don't know. So essentially, or subconsciously, I should say. So essentially, what I'm doing is every day I'm dollar cost averaging my way into Bitcoin so that basically I've got some assurances here. Now, should you buy Bitcoin and should it be part of your portfolio? I don't know. I think that it makes financial sense to kind of invest up to 1% of your portfolio in there. But you have to understand, this is extremely speculative. Just like Citi said, it could be a spectacular implosion. We don't know. And only time is going to tell. But essentially, I don't think that it's going to hurt you to dollar cost average into the investment. Oh yeah, back in that casino in Tupelo, when the ball's spinning around, well, on that round, it actually landed on red. And while I lost that round, I did walk out of the casino that day with my initial investment back. Why? Because I executed on the first rule of investing, which is the return of your investment beats everything else. Keep learning. Watch this video, and I'll see you there.